Did you know there's a stack of free Social Security forms sitting in plain sight that could put thousands of extra dollars in your pocket this year, and almost nobody fills them out? I'm not talking about some secret loophole. These are real official forms. They've been around for years. But the Social Security Administration doesn't exactly send you a postcard saying, hey, you might qualify for this. You have to know it exists, and you have to ask. By the end of this video, you're going to know exactly which 7 forms could apply to you, your spouse, or maybe even your parents. Some of these could mean a one-time payment of several $1,000s. Others could increase your monthly check for the rest of your life. So stick with me, because number 4 on this list surprised even me when I first learned about it. Let's start with someone a lot of you might relate to. Mary is 68, a retired widow living on a fixed income. Her late husband worked for over 30 years and earned a decent Social Security benefit. Mary assumed that when he passed, she'd automatically start getting his higher benefit instead of her own smaller one. Many people don't realize that's not how it works. Social Security doesn't automatically switch you over. You have to file a specific form to claim survivor benefits. If Mary never files it, she could be leaving hundreds of dollars a month on the table every single month for the rest of her life. That's form number 1, the application for survivor's benefits, technically called Form SSA-10. If you're a widow or widower, even if you're already getting your own retirement benefit, it's worth checking whether switching to a survivor benefit would pay you more. But that's not the biggest issue for a lot of you watching. Let's talk about James. James is 58, disabled, and has been getting SSDI for a few years. What surprised me most when researching this is how many SSDI recipients don't realize they may also qualify for SSI supplemental security income on top of what they're already getting. This is where things get interesting. SSI is for people with very limited income and resources. If James's SSDI payment is low enough, and he doesn't have much in savings, he could be eligible for an SSI top-up payment. But here's the catch. SSI doesn't happen automatically just because you're on SSDI. You have to file a separate application. That's form number 2, the SSI application, sometimes started with Form SSA 8000. For some folks, this can mean an extra couple $100s a month. Plus, it can open the door to things like Medicaid and SNAP benefits in many states. Now, here's where the story changes a bit, because this next one applies to a group that often gets completely overlooked. Robert is a veteran. He's 72, and he's been collecting his VA pension and his Social Security for years. What Robert didn't know is that there's a form specifically for veterans and their families called the Statement of Death by Funeral Director, or in some cases, a form to report a veteran's death for survivor benefit purposes. Form SSA 721. Now, I know that sounds morbid, and I'm not trying to bring the mood down, but here's why this matters while you're alive and reading this. If you're a veteran's spouse, knowing this form exists now before you need it means you won't be scrambling during one of the hardest weeks of your life. Filing it promptly can prevent overpayments that the family might otherwise have to pay back later. And it can also speed up survivor benefit processing so the surviving spouse isn't left waiting. That's form number 3. It's less about extra money right now and more about protecting your family from stress and confusion later. But let's get back to money, because this next one is the one that caught my attention the most. Many retirees don't realize that if you're still working, even part-time, and you're under your full retirement age, Social Security might be withholding some of your benefits because of the earnings limit. In 2026, that limit is higher than it used to be, but it still trips people up. Here's the part most people miss. If your income drops later in the year, or you stop working partway through, you might be due money back. The form to request a recalculation or to report a change in your earnings is Form SSA 787, sometimes used alongside a simple letter to your local office. That's form number 4. Think of it like this. Social Security estimates your earnings for the year and withholds based on that estimate. If the estimate was wrong, especially if you earned less than expected, you may be owed a correction. Most people never ask for this. They just assume Social Security got it right the first time. This next update may surprise you too, especially if you're caring for a grandchild or another family member. If you're raising a grandchild, and a lot of grandparents are these days, that child might be eligible for benefits on your record if you're receiving Social Security retirement or disability, or if a parent has passed away. The form here is the Application for Child's Insurance Benefits, Form SSA-4BK. Here's where it gets interesting. This isn't just for biological grandchildren. In some cases, it applies to grandchildren you've legally adopted or who depend on you financially. That can mean a monthly payment for that child until they turn 18, or even longer if they're still in high school. Number 5 on our list, and honestly, this is one of the most underused forms out there. Let's look at the numbers for a second, because form number 6 involves Medicare, and it's a big one for anyone on a tight budget. If you're on Medicare and your income is limited, you may qualify for what's called a Medicare Savings Program. These programs can pay your Medicare Part B premium, which in 2026 is over $185 a month, and in some cases, they cover your deductibles and copays too. The form to apply varies by state, but it's often tied to your state Medicaid application. The key form to know about federally is the application for help with Medicare prescription drug plan costs, Form SSA 1020, which is the gateway to what's called extra help. Here's the part that caught my attention. Extra help alone can save you over $1,000 a year on prescription costs. Combine that with a Medicare savings program covering your premium, and you're looking at potentially $3,000 or more in annual savings. And yet the Social Security Administration has said for years that millions of eligible people never apply. That's form number 6, and if you only do one thing after watching this video, let it be checking on extra help. Now, before I tell you the last one, let's address something. I know this is a lot of information, and some of it might feel overwhelming, but here's the good news. None of these forms cost anything to file. There's no fee, no catch, no fine print designed to trip you up. The hardest part is just knowing they exist, which is exactly why we're going through this list. So form number 7. This one's for anyone who's ever disagreed with a Social Security decision, whether that's a denial, an overpayment notice, or a benefit amount you think is wrong. It's called the Request for Reconsideration, Form SSA 561. Many people get a letter from Social Security saying they were overpaid or that their disability claim was denied, and they just accept it. But you have the right to appeal, and this form is how you start that process. Here's where things get interesting. If you file this within 60 days, in many cases your benefits can continue at the same level while your appeal is being reviewed. Miss that window, and your options get a lot more limited. So let's bring this all together because I know that was a lot. 3 things to remember. First, survivor benefits and SSI are not automatic. You have to apply, even if you're already getting other benefits. Second, extra help and Medicare savings programs can save you thousands a year, and most eligible people never apply. Third, if Social Security makes a decision you disagree with, you have the right to push back, but there's a clock running on that right. I know dealing with government paperwork isn't anyone's idea of fun, but these forms exist because lawmakers wanted to help people in exactly your situation. The only thing standing between you and that help is often just knowing the right form name to ask for. Have you ever filed one of these forms, or did you find out about a benefit too late? Let me know in the comments. Your experience might help someone else watching this who's in the exact same situation. If this video helped you, do me a favor and share it with a friend, a parent, or anyone on a fixed income who could use this information. Hit that like button, subscribe if you're new here, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next video, where we're breaking down exactly how the 2026 Social Security increase affects your monthly check. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one.